All right, there's the bumper music saying it's time to come back to the show. My name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the Business to Business Network show. We've been doing this since 1999. It's an hour-long show talking business, politics, and economics. And we're dedicating this show to some different ideas. We've got Tom as our guest. Tom, give us your last name. Introduce yourself again, please.
My last name is like the first name, Joseph. Tom Joseph.
Excellent.
I'm the founder and treasurer of America's Main Street Party, also what I call producer of Wilson's Fountain. Wilson's Fountain is a repurposing of the United States political committee system to deliver a free and equal nominating system.
Yes, and to fight against this gerrymandering. Now, go into a little bit more depth about Wilson's Fountain. You wanted to touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I really had to explore this. Originally started a party, because that's what you would do. And I kind of took a step back and said, the party is really just a piece of it. And so I looked at the different committees that are in the system. Like right now, the current system favors a candidate. The candidate committees can be large, and they can keep them. So this idea of using a super PAC to provide the prize money for this contest, we could actually put rules in there to say that the candidate must empty their committee at the end of the general election cycle. And you think about that, that makes the candidate accountable to people. They have to go back, re-enter this contest, win it for the nomination, and be accountable in a way that they are not accountable now.
Excellent.
So it's the idea of combining a super PAC that would fund the general election campaign of the contest winner, use a party to publish the contest,
right?
Use a local committee to officiate the contest. And like I said, and now we were changing the dynamic of the candidate committee to say that basically as soon as they win the contest, actually somebody from the local committee is the treasurer. So we actually take control of that committee account as part of the terms of participating in the contest. But, for the candidates, they don't have to spend any money. They're going to get elevated their message by using, the contest to have their platform. They'll come into the general election knowing that they have support. So the idea that, think about our Olympic athletes, we get to learn who they are because they win in the early rounds and they get to the finals and they win the trials and then they go to the Olympics and it's those multiple exposures that give you confidence that they can win. And we want to do the same thing with, a potential independent candidates that they would, by emerging through this contest, that they will be viable in the general election. In fact, we feel that because it's a mobile voting concept, that there's really no barrier that you have, like when you have to fill out ballots, that we could outdraw the primary. Mm-hmm. So if we have somebody who wins this contest and is like 60, 70,000, endorsement votes through this system, and the winner of the public primary only has 40 or 50,000, then the public's going to have confidence that this is a candidate who can win in November.
Okay, now you introduced me to a guy named Ramon who was actually in the military, and working on different, I think he was in the Navy, he said, they could not vote by mail because they were way out at sea. And so I don't know who developed it, but it was official government voting system that was done through the internet, and it's super safe.
There's two different things going on. Ramon Perez is with the Digital Democracy Project. The application you're talking about is Votes, which is actually came through a government contest using blockchain to figure out, how can service members vote if they're on a submarine or they're in a combat zone or somewhere you can't get a piece of paper out of these subs don't come up for a while.
Yeah.
So they developed this application where the phone, actually sees your image of your face, compares with your photo ID, encrypts the vote, sends it through secure channel because they figure if they're in the war zone, they could be, those communications could be compromised. This is highly secure. So the Digital Democracy Project has actually incorporated that technology and is using it in Florida to gather data from citizens in Florida about legislations before the Florida legislature.
Mm-hmm. And so let's spell it. It's VOATZ, isn't it? VOATZ is how they spell that. If anybody wants to Google it.
Yes.
And it's a
Yeah,
fascinating.
and it's a commercial application. It's actually being used in a lot of states now for like just people who can't vote, can't get to the polls. They want to have another way to, allow them to vote. And there's a lot of different mobile voting technology that's secure. I think this is actually, I went to Carnegie Mellon. The guy who developed Votes is the Carnegie Mellon guy. So I got to, promote him, fellow Spartan.
Now, let's clarify. You met some of these guys at a convention that you went to. Describe what that convention was about, that gathering.
Last week, I was at the National Association of Nonpartisan Reformers. I met Ramon virtually, and we'd had several Google meetings and had talked about partnering on this project before we actually met. But some of the people that I had not met but knew of or networked with, I got a chance to meet face to face, and it was really, great experience. Nothing like doing that. And actually, Pat Fernandez, who referred me to you, I think that happened because of a personal meeting. If I just emailed him, he would not have thought. But I think because we spoke and we're at a networking event together, it just helps people feel more confident about referring.
And Kaz is with ranked choice voting, and this whole concept that you have has a ranked choice feel to it. And the reason ranked choice kind of works, it's like American Idol, basically. It's like the March Madness. You have to weed through the potential candidates to finally come down. And part of the challenge here is the way that the two-party system is working right now. These primaries control everything. So if you're in a deep red district for a congressional candidate and you won the Republican primary, you're probably going to win the general election, and same with the deep blues.
Gosh, over 90%. I mean, these guys basically decide when they're going to retire, and some of them, the stories of how old these folks are, and they are not in their prime.
Yeah,
and that is really what we want to do. I actually wrote a piece a couple weeks ago that was comparing like how we select people for the Olympics versus Congress, and just imagining, letting our Olympians age out like we do our Congress people. We are not winning any medals.
You got that. Hey, we got about 2 minutes here. Let's get your website again. If people want to get information, how do they find you?
Like I said, mainstreetparty.org explains the contest. In fact, there's a page on there called the nominating process. So that if you're running for Congress, we're going to have an app for that. So it really kind of explains it both from the constituent side and from the contestant or candidate side, how the system works. And then wilsonsfountain.us is the website where we explain kind of how the whole system works, in a different way, but without changing any law. I mean, that's the big obstacles that ranked choice voting, open primaries, trying to overturn Citizens United requires a lot of money, a lot of time, and the parties are fighting back on any of those things being overturned.
Yeah, we got music coming up here. It's the bottom of the hour. We're going to break for the news. Tom, stay with us. We're going to go into more depth about this because these ideas and this technology is basically an end run around, and we're going to talk about around the system. So stay with us. Everybody got the news at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned. We're going to be back after the news.